Vala Morgolis, everybody. This is Hype's Watch, and we are back again for another Game of Thrones episode. This one for Season 7, Episode 4, The Spoils of War. And as you can see, I got my boys with me as always. We got the ladies' man, Sir L.T. Giles. Of course, we have the resident show realist, Jerry the Targaryen Steamboat, and our returning champion, the man, the myth, the legend, JB, James Bichelle from JBTV. And we actually were supposed to have one more person, but unfortunately, due to technical difficulties, we were not able to get that person on board. So hopefully we'll be able to get him on at another juncture. Man, oh man. So this episode, pretty interesting episode. Shorter. One of the shortest episodes we have had thus far, but I think still pretty impactful. So let's start us off in the Reach. The Lannisters have just left Highgarden. They are on the march back to King's Landing with the gold. Jaime finally pays Bronn what he owes him, or at least part of it. Bronn still wants a damn castle, and he will not be satisfied until he gets a damn castle. And in fact, he wanted Highgarden, but Jaime was kind of like, wait. I don't think you want that one in the middle of a war. But, let's hear what the guys think about this one. So, JB, I want you to start this one off. What were you thinking about the opening and the march from Highgarden and Bronn finally getting his pay?
Well, first off, since I wasn't here last week, I wish that the taking of Highgarden should have been about 30 minutes plus. It should have been in its own episode, in conjunction with Casterly Rock. So they could have had this part in the last episode, but they didn't. With Bronn really expecting to get Highgarden, like Bronn of the Blackwater, like just this dude getting one of the most important castles in Westeros. I don't know if he was being serious or not, but yeah. I mean, it was fine. It is what it is. But like I said, I wish that the taking of Highgarden, and I know this goes, I haven't been here the last 2 weeks because I've been on vacation, but I wish the taking of Highgarden was more spectacular, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, I really don't have much to say about this particular scene. I mean, it is what it is. It was pretty short. I don't think it had much impact. Just wish that the taking of Highgarden was more spectacular.
Understood. Jerry, your thoughts on the opening to this episode?
Well, first, James, did you see what fucking Highgarden looked like? It looked like trash. The Harleys had a better fucking living than these guys. So, Bronn already had a castle in the last one, so he has to get an upgraded castle. We should have just gave him Highgarden. I mean, I wish Jaime would have just told the real reason why he didn't give Bronn Highgarden. He should have just said, "Looky here, Bronn. You are a fan favorite, and we need to have a reason for you to stay in the show. So, no, I can't give you Highgarden." And at least they acknowledge that there's food in the Reach, that's one of the riches of the Reach. Other than that, I really don't have much to say.
All right, LT?
Why not give Bronn Highgarden? I mean, I guess Jerry made a good point, but it's like, there's no Tyrells left, and I don't think... well, I guess maybe Randall Tarley might want it, but it's good to see Bronn and Jaime back together and get lines from Bronn. But yeah, I ain't got much to say about that either.
All right, so we're gonna move it along then, because I really got nothing to say on that one. I'm gonna go to King's Landing and the one Cersei scene we actually got for this one, but I think it was very important because Cersei is negotiating still with Tychonosaurus and laying out her plans, and the thing that she mentions that was pretty interesting is the fact that she's like, look, once you guys get your money and we have your full support for this war, I want to hire the Golden Company. And we've heard about the Golden Company a couple of times throughout the episodes, but never to the point where never to the point where we've actually seen them and no one's actually gotten a chance to hire them. So it'll be interesting to see what happens when you actually have a famed, army like the Golden Company enter the war, and especially because they're entering on the side of the Lannisters, who, if this were the books, and damn it, Jerry, you're not going to destroy this one. But if this were the books, then the Golden Company definitely would not fight for the Lannisters. But different setting, different rules. LT, your take.
Whoa, Willie.
Huh?
Sorry for cutting you off, but why not? They hate the Targaryens, so why not fight for Cersei? I mean, say if it was the books, and say if Cersei sat the throne like in the show, like why not support Cersei to take out Dany?
I will say, I'm definitely not a D&D supporter, but I will say that at least they've never talked about the Golden Company before, so you don't have in their world this reason why they wouldn't join the Lannisters. I'm not saying that it's good or bad. I'm just saying that they've never established that before. So that can't be, I guess, a point in this.
I mean, but regardless, it could only help Cersei's cause. And she's already got Yarn and all his ships and the Reach backing her. I mean, that just makes her even more dangerous if she gets the Golden Company. But we'll see. Time will tell.
True indeed. Jerry, please don't start with the books. This ain't the damn books.
Well,
right?
I mean, I've always said that Cersei. I mean, it makes no sense for Cersei to be on the throne to begin with. Let's be honest here. There's no sensible reason that this is even happening. I've been saying that she is the stand-in for Aegon, which we know. Who is the Golden Company? Who's Tarly? Who's the Friends of the Reach? Who's Tarly turning to? Aegon. Who's got his back? The Golden Company. So, I mean, if you're going to just take out Aegon and plant Cersei in there, sense doesn't matter in this thing at this point. We don't have to worry about that. But, I don't even think we're going to get the Golden Company for reasons I will say later. I think this was just a wink to the fans of the book and be like, hey, we acknowledge some history. Aren't we so good? We read the books. You hear that, guys? We read the books.
Could be. James, your thoughts on Cersei deciding to hire the Golden Company? If they can get the support, because at this particular point in the episode, they're still waiting on the gold to get there.
Right. Like I said, I'd like them to stay to the books, but as long as they stay consistent with their own universe, I can forgive some things. If they would have said in season 2 or something, they brought up the Golden Company and tied it in with the Blackfires or something, then I would be ripping this apart. But they didn't, so I can kind of forgive it. And I think the only reason, if they actually do show the Golden Company, is because obviously we see the power of Dany and the dragons. Just like when they brought in Euron, essentially they need at least some equalization to Dany to make this at least a dramatic conflict to a point. That'd be the only reason why we would see the Golden Company, in my opinion. Just they were like, hey, how can we make Dany at least Cersei match Dany's overpoweredness a little bit? Oh, what was that in the books? Golden Company. Okay, we'll throw them in there. Like I said, just as long as they didn't, tie them to Blackfires before, I can forgive it. But yeah, that's why I think they're gonna, if they do actually bring in the Golden Company, it's just to be an equalizer.
That's kind of what it sounds like too, and we'll have to see what happens with that. But I do like the fact that they actually brought up the Golden Company, even though it looks like we're probably not gonna get any form of Aegon. They've taken parts of his plot and split them up amongst different characters, but we'll see how this plays out. All right, so now it's time to get to Winterfell, because this is where things really starts to get interesting, because we have your boy King Bay, Mockingbird for King himself, giving Bran the Valyrian steel cat's paw dagger, and at the same time reopening the mystery of who sent that person to kill Bran, because if it were Littlefinger, I'm pretty sure Bran would have said something. But Bran, I mean, I don't know, man. It seemed really interesting, just in the fact that it's like, all right, he's looking at the dagger. Littlefinger's telling him, "Hey, look, I tried to, I would have tried to save your mom if I were there. Sorry, I wasn't able to do anything." And then he repeats the "chaos is a ladder" line to him. And, you know, at this point, I'm not sure if Sansa had already told Littlefinger that Bran has visions, but I just thought it was interesting in the fact of, you know, here you have him kind of trying to get information out of Bran, not knowing exactly what Bran could say to him, and then having Bran spit back a line to him that Bran should not know, you know, according to Peter Baelish. So, any thoughts from you guys? And Jerry, I want you to start this one off. Your thoughts on Peter Baelish and Bran and their interaction.
Hold on. Are we doing the whole Bran interaction? Because right after Baelish leaves, Meera comes in.
No, we'll talk about Meera in a moment. I just want to get to the Peter Baelish and Bran thing first.
Okay, because first I'm gonna say Bran. He's now. I have a new name for him because he's turned into this fucking HAL 9000 guy. He's a fucking robot. So from now on here, he is Bran 9000. So, yeah, we got Bran 9000 and Littlefinger's just, you know, telling him his stuff. I don't even understand why Littlefinger's even trying to talk to him or even giving it to him. I think it's just so the audience can be creeped out. And, you know, Bran tells him, you know, repeats that Chaos the Ladder speech right back to him. And Littlefinger is just like, "Oh, shit. Brad just bought the season 3 Blu-ray and he watched it. Oh no! What am I gonna do? Did he buy season 1 too? Oh shit!" And that's really it.
Okay, James.
Well, one thing, like I said, I wasn't in the last episode. So I find it interesting that they did this shift with Bran's character all of a sudden. Like, to me, he's kind of like the male version of Daria or something. Like, he's like a hipster, creepy emo kid now. And what's weird is he didn't have this characterization up to, you know, after Bloodraven or Bloodraven died in the tree, or when they were in the tree, and he got out and he was with Meera and he was with Benjen up until he got to the wall. He wasn't like this creepy emo kid, but all of a sudden they've had him shift to this character. And it's weird because, like, if they would have done it like the second that Bloodraven died, and, like, you know, maybe they're trying to say something like his consciousness is now in Bran or something, because he said that Bran Stark died in the tree or whatever, and he started like this. As soon as that happened to this point, I'd be cool with it. But it's weird that they did this shift all of a sudden. In terms of this particular scene, yeah, I mean, obviously, I think we can see where this is going. I think as soon as Littlefinger grasped the concept of what Bran was saying when he said chaos is a ladder, that I think, Littlefinger's butthole puckered up quite a bit, and he knows that, personally, if I was him, I'd be getting the fuck out of Dodge. But, you know, Littlefinger
He's probably trying to close the HBO store now. He's like, don't sell any more Blu-rays to Bran.
But yeah, I pretty much said what I need to say about Bran. I just wish they were consistent from the second that Bloodraven died up to this point. As soon as he left the tree, but whatever.
Asking for consistency at this point?
I know it's a dangerous game.
I mean, listen, it makes sense. I can't fault your logic on that one, James. LT, your thoughts on Peter Baelish and Bran?
Yeah, I agree with James completely. Like, yeah, when he went to the Tower of Joy, that was after Bloodraven had already been killed, right? And he was showing emotion when he saw, Jon and the baby Jon, all that. He was showing emotion. So yeah, I agree. It's kind of similar to Littlefinger, like how he started being a creepy man with his voice all of a sudden, out of nowhere, and he wasn't talking like that before. But yeah, this is just showing. Come on, we know, Littlefinger is gonna die in probably the next few episodes, and then I can't get into later stuff yet. In this episode, but this is just foreshadowing his death, and yeah, that's all I have to say about that.
Hey! You watch how you talk about that mockingbird there, kid. All right?
Sorry, but you know it's true. Fix your feelings, young Padawan.
Listen, mockingbird for king, always. All right.
Maybe in the books, but not in the show, man. Sorry.
All right, man. Well, anyway, so Meera comes in. Bran is all extra Robo Bran 9000 on her. And she kind of gets pissed off at him because she's like, hey, look, my brother died for you. The children of the forest died for you. Summer died for you. Hodor died for you. And all you can say is, gee, thanks. See you later. Skedaddle. And listen, you know what's funny? I actually wrote down in my notes, Bran is an asshole. So, James, your thoughts on Robo Bran and Meera?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much, I pretty much kind of said what I had to say about Bran, essentially. It's sad to see that, that this is the case. It was interesting when he said that, or, she said that part of him died at the tree. I guess that was this episode, so I should have saved that for this part. But yeah, it was interesting that she said that he died at the tree when he seemed to be himself from the tree up until Winterfell. Then he changed. So I don't know. I kind of would like to know why that was the case. Like, maybe it was something about Winterfell that changed him all of a sudden. But yeah, I mean, it's sad to see that, this happened. I don't know if this is the last we see of Meera Reed. Maybe we'll see her again. Maybe she'll come back eventually. But yeah, I pretty much had to say what I had to say about Bran earlier when we were talking about Littlefinger.
Okay, cool. Sorry, LT? Well, we didn't lose LT, did we?
No, I'm here.
Yeah, your thoughts about the Meera Bran?
Yeah, like, it was messed up, and I agree, like you said, douchebag, and you know what, Bran's maybe, I'm hoping that possibly Bran's going through something like Morgan did in Walking Dead, and maybe he'll come around, but who knows, right?
I'll just interject with that real quick. I kind of got the vibe maybe that they're saying like that Bloodraven's consciousness kind of went into his. That's kind of exactly like what that's kind of the vibe I'm getting, which I guess it only kicked in when into that in a minute. Okay.
All right, well, yeah, Jerry, since you were next anyway, go right ahead.
Bran is no longer here, Mrs. Torrance. It's only Bran 9000, so I show no emotion. Yeah. Basically, yeah, what they're doing here, they're showing someone else is in there, kind of like Steve, in the Shining. They like to steal from Stephen King a lot. The Shining, where he's got that Tony, like where the kid's got that. Someone enters him and he's like emotionless. But really, I know where they got this from. What they're doing is they must have read Dune over the summer. This book Dune over the summer, and in this book, basically, they have a thing where they switch. They have a method where they can switch, change their consciousnness over, and they turn it over to someone else to carry on. And that's what they're called, like Reverend Mothers. And then, anyways, when someone there was in the book, someone that becomes a Reverend Mother was pregnant during that time, and so the same thing happened to the child in her womb, and the child became conscious right away and absorbed all those memories, and came out a creepy child, kind of like what you're seeing about Bran, although it's not it's better than kind of what you're seeing here, though.
And for the record, like, I'd be okay with that if they could be consistent.
If they explained it. But I'm telling you, they read this over the summer, so they didn't have it back then.
Yeah, because, like, why I just don't get, like, when Bloodraven died, Bran was fine up until the point he got to Winterfell. Then he changed. Like, at least explain that. I don't know.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like I said, he's showing emotion in the Tower of Joy, and then yeah, definitely.
It's Vince McMahon writing. He's just like, okay, let's hope our audience is stupid and doesn't remember stuff.
I mean, well, you know what? I'm gonna have to go back to last season and just kind of rewatch how he how he acted once he came out of his kind of tree coma the first time, because I kind of think like when Benjen first showed up, he kind of was a little Robo Bran, but maybe not this much.
I think so.
He was a little Robo Bran when Benjen first showed up, and he came
I'll
out
have
of
to go
coma.
back and look. I remember him having emotion.
Yeah, I even remember in episode 1 or 2, whenever they got to Ed at the wall, he still seemed at least Branish and not Bran 9000-ish. So,
I mean, well, maybe, okay, look, let's think about this, fellas. Maybe what it could be is the more he goes into the tree and the longer he he kind of stays with this information dump, maybe that kind of drains more out of regular
You're trying
Bran.
to make sense of this, and it's not. You're trying to make fetch happen. It's not going to happen. I'm just telling you right now.
Could he be in shock from being home? And also, one thing that they messed up on is how the hell would he know about the Callus's letter? I'm just thinking right here, dude. There's no weirwood tree in there.
Well, he
You
can
can look in
travel.
the trees. You can't.
Well, there was no
No,
weirwood
only
tree at the
through the
Tower of Joy
trees.
either.
I know, right? Okay.
I mean, well, remember, supposedly he is supposed to be able to see beyond the trees, and after a while, he's
Not
supposed
to
to be
mention,
able to see without
if he
the
has
trees.
Blood Raven in him, Blood Raven might have saw that, and then Bran got those memories.
Right. So yeah, who knows? But let's move it along, because finally, what we thought was going to happen last episode happened this episode, and we got Arya back. And they had a nice little call back to season 1 where she comes out of the sewers in King's Landing and goes to the gates and is like, "Hey, I live here." The Lannister soldiers are like, "Hey, get the fuck out of here, kid." And then once she tells them who her father is, then they decide to let her in. But this was a little different because the Stark soldiers are still like, yeah, okay, look, you can try to fool other people, you're not gonna fool us. And then once, she kind of presses the whole thing, then they're like, all right, we'll let you in, stay here, and then after that, she, disappears off to the crypts, and that's where her and Sansa finally have their little reunion. And the funny thing I thought about that was when she said that the statue didn't look like Ned. I thought that was,
Yeah. I'm like, what does Arya think Sean Bean looks like? Come on.
Yeah, and then after that we get another Stark reunion where Sansa takes Arya to see Bran at the tree. We have, the handing off of the dagger. There's what is Littlefinger doing here? And then, Brienne finally getting closure that she has finally fulfilled her vows. So, LT, I want to start off with you with this. How did you feel about the whole Arya, Sansa, Bran, and everything with the rest of the scene here at Winterfell?
Yeah, I got a little teary-eyed when they union, but Arya is man. Arya was badass when she dodged that like swipe from the guard, and I'm like, man, this is just what I picture in the future when she's like fully grown and she's an archer. She's got a bow on her back and she's just like fucking Assassin's Creed. That's what Arya's gonna be in the future. I'm telling you, I'm calling it now. But anyways, yeah, and also, did anybody notice that like Pod and Brienne, the criminal, they had furs on, when they're like they look northerner. It was pretty cool that too, and yeah, it was just awesome seeing this reunion. Like I actually watched Quinn's review of the not review, but he was talking about the leak episode, and thank God he didn't mention this because I'm glad he didn't mention this. He mentioned some other stuff from this episode, but he didn't mention this, and I'm glad I wasn't spoiled on this, and I really enjoyed it. Oh, one more thing. Sorry. Bran did actually look like he did show a little bit of emotion when Arya hugged him. I don't know if you guys saw that, but I also thought he showed a little emotion there.
Saw zero emotion.
Yeah, a little bit. Also the funny thing is when he handed off the dagger to Arya, and she's like, "Oh, why are you giving me this?" And he's like, "Oh, it's no use to a cripple." I was kind of like, that seemed a little off there, but okay. James.
I didn't hate it. Mainly because generally it seems like when they've done these reunions, they've kind of hammed it up and cheesed it up, and I was glad that I felt like it was kind of consistent with Arya's character, that their reunion was kind of understated. To me, it felt a little more genuine to their actual relationship they had in the past. I'm glad they didn't have like the swelling music and tears rolling down their eyes. I felt that it was actually, kind of like how maybe it will be if it ever happens. But so I didn't hate it. I did think that statue looked like Sean Bean. I didn't know what the fuck they were talking about. I thought it looked pretty spot on. I mean, to me, I think that it's pretty clear that Littlefinger, I think it's going to be a team effort between the three. And I know there's a scene later involving Arya, kind of Littlefinger gazing at each other. To me, it's pretty clear that I think that like I said, I think it's going to be a team effort, but I do think Littlefinger is going to die by Arya via that dagger. It just would, I think it kind of, I don't know, be poetic or whatever. But yeah, like I said, I didn't hate it, because I do think that that's kind of how their characters are. Like, it wouldn't be all tears and swelling music. So I was cool with it.
Okay. Jerry?
Well, I saw the inside the episode, and Benioff talked about this scene. He said he took it from Odysseus coming back and no one recognizing him. And all I got to say about that is it reminded me that fucking Benioff wrote Troy, and he did a fucking terrible job. So fuck you, David Benioff, for even bringing this shit up. So fuck you and fuck your goddamn fuck him. As far as her going up to this, I thought it was kind of weird when she asked which Lady Stark. I'm like, how many women Stark are there left? What else? I mean, other than that, the scene between her and Sansa seemed to make actually made some sense for once. They didn't really have any continuity errors, which they've been having left and right in the season. It'd be kind of cool that hopefully in the next episode that they'll have a talk behind the scenes going over everything that's happened, because they have a lot to talk about. I'm surprised when she mentioned that Bran is there. Like, I'm surprised Arya wasn't like, how's Bran alive? I thought he was dead. And Rickon. But no. Then you got more of the fucking Bran 9000. And when he gave the little dagger to her, I started thinking that he's like, if he was gonna mention anything about Littlefinger, expose him. That was the time. When he said it doesn't matter, I don't think Bran is ever going to expose Littlefinger at this point. If Littlefinger is going to get exposed, it's going to have to be by someone else. And I'm starting to think he might not get exposed. And I'll mention something again later. But
maybe Bran only popped in the season 3, episode 6, The Climb DVD, and didn't go back far enough to season 1 to see.
He might. Well, Littlefinger isn't going to teleport to HBO Studios and be like, we got to shut down the store. Brandon's going to expose me. So we'll have to see there.
That's kind of what it's seeming like.
And then, goddamn, everyone wants to give fucking Brienne credit for things she doesn't. Like, Pod's like, oh, you brought them together. Well, she knew shit. At least here she doesn't accept it, but, still no mention of her criminal behavior, so whatever. Let's move on to the next scene.
You still will not let go of Brienne being a criminal.
She's a fucking criminal.
I won't let go of it either. She's dirty.
Man. All right. So let's move on to Dragonstone. So we get, a scene on Dragonstone where Missandei and Daenerys almost talk sex with Grey Worm. Not interesting. Anyway, so Jon brings Daenerys down to the cave where there's dragon glass. And also you have the scrollings of Children of the Forest, and they tell the story about the first men and the Children of the Forest fighting together against the White Walkers, and Daenerys still being an obstinate fucking child, was like, hey, I believe you about the first men and the children of the forest and all that shit, but yeah, I still want you to bend the knee. You know, yeah. And then, she finds out about losing Highgarden and the fact that the Unsullied are pretty much screwed when it comes to being in the Westerlands, and decides, you know what? All right, fuck the dumb shit, Tyrion. It is time to go out, bring the Dothraki, and let's go get some fire and blood. So, Jerry, I want to get you first on this one, because I'll be honest with you, this was, Daenerys with this whole goddamn bend the knee, bend the knee, bend the knee thing. I'm like, bitch, you know that shit's not important right now, but yet you still keep bringing it up.
Well, I mean, there's not much sense going on right now is the problem. And, I mean, it's too bad Stannis died, or else, that all that dragon glass there would already be, dug out and weaponized. Too bad. So, oh well. Too bad Sam forgot about it. Oh well. But and then they get to the writings. I mean, how does she know that Jon didn't just make those writings himself when he was in there and he's just trying to how did she know that? She's like, oh wow, it's the children of the forest. You don't say, really. And Jon was getting a little bit of touchy in there, We got a little episode 2 of when Johnny met Dany. And then, those drawings, all those symbols, fucking Dan and Dave love their symbols, and they talked about it inside the episode. I won't talk about it here, but oh wow, those symbols. And wow, they must have had a fucking master artist to do those fucking White Walker drawings. Those things were fucking detailed as shit. That was amazing. I'm like, wow. Anyways, and did you see that the fucking king had a beard? Like whatever the Night's King one, he had a big old beard? Oh, interesting. This must be a new Night's King, a young Night's King. I don't know. And yeah, they come out of the cave. And
maybe the title passed on, or maybe he decided to shave. It was getting a little bit too warm up there or something like that. During the last summer or whatever.
Oh, it was getting warm in there. You saw Jon getting touchy. Anyways, so they start talking about like, when things fell, and man, they're still on this fucking dumb shit, like this stupid ass plan of like, we're going to make everyone starve because that's so much more nice than, just killing some soldiers. I don't understand why they say that she needs to burn the city. Why can't she just fly to the Red Keep and just get that? Why? I mean, that would be so fast, so simple, so easy.
Well, I do think she mentioned going in, particularly burning the Red Keep and not the rest of the city.
Yeah, but okay. And then she asked Jon. Jon's like, well, you can't be burning cities. And so Jon's fucking dumb as shit, too. He should be like, okay, why don't you go get the Red... What he should have said is, okay, you burn the keep, I'll help you. You burn the Red Keep. Take over that. We get married because to form an alliance, and then we go north. We'll do this real quick. Boom, boom, boom. By the time you get in the Red Keep, all done mining. We can take them all out. That's the plan. Let's just get north as soon as possible. Instead, he starts, doing some fucking poetic thing about burning cities. And doing the impossible. I'm like, you idiot. Anyways,
that'd be too easy, Jerry.
I mean, it would be too easy. Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. Like, real quick, when you talk about your whole thing with the marriage proposal, I don't think that she would go for it, because the argument against that would be, you're a bastard, I'm a true-born Targaryen. How is it gonna look with the rest of the Westerosi lords if the true-born daughter of, and the last Targaryen marries a bastard from the north who really shouldn't have been king in the north in the first place?
Well, apparently these lords are fine with, fucking the Sand Snakes taking over Dorne, Cersei taking over the Red Keep with no claim. They seem to be fine promoting Jon King of the North when he has no claim. These lords seem to be fine with all that. Why not this? Why bring in sense now at this point?
Understood. All right, LT, your thoughts on Daenerys and the whole
being the
goddamn
ladies' man
vanity
himself.
bullshit.
Being a ladies' man himself, I could see when a lady looks a certain way when somebody's coming in. When Jon is like, "Let's go," and the Dothraki were like, the Dothraki didn't, and she's like, "It's okay." And the way she was looking, the glare in her eye and the smile. Maybe it's just me, but I feel like, yeah, she's got it for him. And you know what? When she finds out that he's Targaryen, she's gonna apologize to him so much, and I can't wait to see that. But yeah, I'm with you, Willie, about this bullshit about bend the knee. It's like getting really old and tired. And yeah, those paintings were so epic and so clear, weren't they, Jerry? They're just like magnificent, like Leonardo da Vinci painted them himself, huh?
I don't know about Da Vinci. I don't think he ever did stone paintings, but yeah, I know.
Look at me, John. I'm trying to be
I get
fucking
what
funny,
you mean.
man. Yeah.
I get what you mean, and
All right, James.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that they're being very subtle with the Jon and Dany interaction. I think it's clear as day where they're going with that plot line. If you can't see it, then you're just blind, I guess. To me, I thought the paintings kind of looked like a fit, or kind of looked like a carnival caricature. I thought. I want to know where they got the blue dye for the eyes. Like, they have like blue rocks sitting there, and they just, I don't know, or they had colored pencils. I don't know.
I mean, well, look, remember, obsidian, according to their world, can be blue, green, purple, or black. And I think maybe even a little red, too. So,
I guess.
It is possible that they had blue dragon glass sitting inside that cave, and they specifically went and mined that blue dragon glass to put it in for those eyes.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. I personally thought the carvings looked kind of goofy. In terms of Dany, like, I think I'll give a shout out here to Plexi Bertrand in the chat. You know, he's saying Dany leveraging the North's precarious situation to make Jon bend the knee is not breaking the wheel. I kind of agree with that. It's like, why does she need the North? Like, does the North really bring in income? Like, what's the benefits of having the North? Why do you need to have all 7 kingdoms? Why can't you see you say you want to break the wheel, you want to change the way that things are, then fucking make a deal with Jon, let him have the North, do what's best for everybody, and get on with it. So I think Plexi Bertrand made a good point there, and I think Dany, obviously she's going to turn around. I mean, obviously they're going to make Jon and Dany amiable, and that situation's going to change, but it's kind of annoying, personally. Oh, I guess we're not going to. Are we going to talk about the Davos Jon interaction later?
Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute.
All right, cool.
And I just want to say peace out to my man JD. You know, have a good night, sir. Hopefully one of these days we'll actually be able to get you on, man. Alright, so back to Winterfell. So we got Arya and Brienne sparring. Arya showing off her skills, you know, because Podrick in all this time apparently still has not learned shit and is going. I mean, look, if Podrick winds up going north, or facing against a White Walker, or even a White, I think that will be the last we see of Podrick. So, yeah, I thought this scene was pretty interesting. Arya showing off the skills that she has learned, and the fact that you had Sansa and Littlefinger who were there watching, and they were absolutely astonished because last time Sansa saw Arya, I mean, she was a pretty good archer, but never, never a swordsman. And I think she probably, knew about her water dancing lessons, but never actually saw Arya with a blade whatsoever. So, Jerry, I see you with that damn smirk on your face. So your thoughts on on Brienne and Sansa. Go ahead and tell us how it's bullshit, Jerry.
I'll tell you how it's bullshit. Why is Brienne getting so much credit she doesn't deserve? She beat the Hound? No. And then they even, in the inside of the episode, they called her a legendary fighter. A legendary! Like Arthur Dane legendary. Like, okay, she couldn't even beat fucking Jaime when Jaime was in chains and, like, hadn't been fed well in, like, months. She went toe-to-toe with the Hound when he was hurt and injured, and only because the Hound slipped on a fucking banana peel because he was fell to his wounds. Yet all of a sudden she's a fucking legendary. Fuck you. Anyways, I guess that fucking, that Morgan Faceless Man training paid off that Arya did, what was it, last season before? With the fucking, where she was doing the blind staff training? Whatever
That was last season.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that paid off. I don't get why she's fucking training with needle and a Valyrian steel dagger. Like, she could have killed fucking Brienne. You don't train with that. You train generally with blunted weapons.
I mean, I guess she was trying to show how skilled she is. She's like, look, you can fight with the blunted weapon. I'll be able to fight with the real weapons and still not hurt you because I'm that nice.
Yeah, no. She didn't even get that close. It was like a John Cena punch. Like, wait, come on. And, I mean, hey, by the way, after it all ended, did y'all notice Littlefinger's face? That little grin he was giving, like, a smile. He's like, good job, girl. Like, he became a fan. I just got a question for you guys. It looked like he was enjoying Arya being a badass. He looked like he's enjoying Stark rising. Are they turning Littlefinger babyface? Thoughts?
Littlefinger might wind up being a hero.
Yeah.
Right.
He's going babyface. I feel it.
Oh, man. James over there shaking his head. No. All right, James, get in on this, man. Get in on this.
He's not going babyface. Look, okay, so first off, I thought that they might as well, when Arya said that, or when Brienne asked, "Oh, how'd you learn that?" She said, "I was taught by no one." She might as well have looked at the camera and winked at the audience when she said that, because it was a little cheesy. But I'm.
Oh yeah, it was like, oh, no one. Did you remember that?
Yeah. Like Arya is now like the gold medalist for the Olympic team for the British fencing squad. She was pulling out the moves. I'm not gonna sit here and say it wasn't badass. I mean, it was her seeing the moves was pretty cool, even if it was whatever. But the look, the gaze that she shares with Littlefinger tells me without a doubt. Maybe you think Littlefinger's gonna turn babyface. I don't think he's turning babyface. I think he's gonna get a heel ending. The gaze tells me that Arya is gonna be the one gutting his ass with the Valyrian dagger that he set in motion to begin with. Well, not the dagger itself, but him saying that it was Tyrion. Yeah, I mean, it was badass seeing Arya actually put some of her training in use. Though, whatever the dialogue involving Brienne and the worshipping of Brienne is whatever. I can get over it. But yeah, I mean, the scene was cool. I enjoyed it for what it was.
All right, LT.
Dude, this is one of my favorite scenes of the whole series. Arya was so badass. The choreography was amazing in this scene. Like, Arya just looked so bad. She looked like this was water dancing at its finest. Like, she just, oh my god, to own the Brienne like this, just just the look between her and Littlefinger, that just proves, I'm sorry, Willie, that there's not gonna be no King Littlefinger. He's probably gonna be dead the next episode after this. Probably not gonna be. Maybe the season. Maybe he'll last to the season finale. But I'm sorry, Littlefinger's done. Arya's gonna be the one to kill him. I'm just excited for what's the future of Arya taking on like 5 people at once, because that's how badass she looked in this scene.
I mean, well, look, you know what was pretty interesting about this whole thing, because when the pictures surfaced with Arya with the dagger, Entertainment Weekly, and then we saw, the trailers with Arya with the dagger. We saw the trailer with Littlefinger unsheathing the dagger. It painted a much different picture of, what would probably happen. And I'm like, I got this totally wrong about, why Littlefinger would wind up dying. And I'm very glad. And I'm hoping that that Littlefinger at least survives this season, just so I can troll the shit out of Rorist some more. So that is my only thing. I just want him to survive this season.
What if they turn a babyface down, Willie?
Sorry, he's done.
Listen, I mean, it is what it is, man. If he doesn't get it, look. First off,
he's already the hero of the North. I mean, we know he saved the North when everyone.
Yes, this is true. Littlefinger needs to be exposed before he dies, though, because if they just kill him without exposing him, it will absolutely cheapen his death 100%. It wouldn't make any damn sense whatsoever if you just say, "Oh, okay, Littlefinger, you're annoying, you must die." So
no, they're gonna expose him.
Yeah, they have to expose him. The thing is, I'm wondering how, because Bran had the opportunity and didn't. So
yeah, this was this episode. That time was the opportunity.
But you know what?
And Bran said it doesn't matter.
Remember, though, we still have not seen the Brotherhood without banners since episode 1. So, I'm still thinking we could get the Hound finally exposing Littlefinger, and if that happens, I will be like, okay, it is time for Littlefinger to die. No more is to be done with him.
I got a question though. If the Hound says that, how is the Hound gonna say that and be like, "Oh yeah, I was against your dad too, but let me live"?
Because the Hound was just the soldier doing his job, as opposed to Peter Baelish.
Littlefinger could say the same thing. I was just doing my job.
Come on, nobody's gonna believe that though. With the Hound, they know what his motivations were.
You're holding different standards to different characters in that point.
When that argument you guys are making is pointless, but when you're asking about Bran, not exposing Littlefinger, come on, he's still searching through the railroad network. He hasn't got there yet, but maybe he's gonna get there within the next few episodes.
He hasn't bought that season 1 Blu-ray yet.
Yeah,
he needs to get his weekly allowance, and then he'll get it.
All right. Well, listen, it is what it is. Let's move on, because I think we've gotten way off into the woods with this one. We'll get back to the Littlefinger, Bran, Arya thing probably next episode or something like that. But let's go back to Dragonstone, where we have Jon and Davos. You see Davos say, like, hey, I see you like that Daenerys there. She's cute. She's pretty. Come on, man. You want her. Jon's like, hey, listen, man. I kind of, don't really have time for that, White Walker invasion, etc., etc. Got more important things to worry about right now. And then they talk to Missandei, who finally gives her backstory about how she was forced into slavery. And, they question her reasons as to why is she with Daenerys if she used to be a slave. Like, why in the world is she still serving someone? It's like, look, she freed me. She's cool. We're good. If I want to leave, I can leave anytime. It's not a problem. And then after this, though, we get the arrival of Theon Greyjoy. And man, oh man, talk about tense. Theon kind of gets off the boat and it's like, hey, Jon, fancy seeing you here. Had no idea you would be on this island at all, especially, after this whole thing here. Did Sansa tell you that I saved her? So that was actually a pretty funny scene right there. And then when Theon is like, hey, look, they captured my sister. I'm trying to get her back, so I need to talk to Daenerys about this. We'll transition to that part later, but any thoughts on Theon and Jon meeting up, and also, Missandei's backstory and why she is still supported Daenerys? James.
So we finally get a Stannis callback that wasn't completely negative when Jon said that they'd have, however many soldiers less. Davos said fewer. That was a callback to the scene from season 5 before Stannis' heel turn. If we could go back to the Littlefinger thing. But yeah, so that was good to see. They didn't shit on Stannis for once. But once again, they're definitely building up the Jon and Dany relationship. We all know where it's heading. Jon is the blue rose and the chink in the wall of the ice. We all know it's true. We all know it's happening.
Cracked the code a few weeks ago.
Yeah, and the whole Masande thing. There's really not much to analyze there. They're just trying to show why people would be loyal to Dany. We already know from what how the show watcher or the showrunners have portrayed the whole situation, why people would follow her. In terms of the Theon stuff, yeah, it was kind of tense. I didn't think that Jon would kill him or anything. I thought that maybe he'd punch him. But yeah, I really don't think there's really much to analyze there. So that's all I gotta say about that.
All right, LT.
Yeah, I think Theon got off way too easy. In the pictures I saw, this is part of the leaked photos, guys, where it showed Jon choking Theon. It looked like he was choking him, but he only grabbed his collar. That was fucking weak. Jon should have smacked him or punched him up a few times. Okay, yeah, he did save Sansa, but you know what? He also took over Winterfell and got it burnt. Basically, you should have whooped his ass a little bit. He deserved a good ass kicking for that. I'm disappointed that Jon didn't lay the smackdown on his candy ass.
Okay, so LT wanted Jon to play the rock. And Jerry, your thoughts on this scene, Theon arriving, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, first, we had the, next episode of when Johnny met Dany. And I guess Davos is equating a good heart to, set of boobs. And I like how he's like, oh, yeah, I noticed you're looking at her good heart. Oh, speaking of a good heart, we saw a couple episodes ago. Hello, Miss Andy. I don't know. I thought, and I also kind of thought, like, when he said that, for some reason, when he said, so what do you think of her? It kind of reminded me when Luke asked that about Han and Leia in A New Hope, and he's like, when he asked that about Leia, I'm like, wonder if that's where they got it from. But yeah, that reminded me of it. At least the show acknowledged that two things that, what Theon did in season 2 and what he did in, season 5, season 6. At least they're acknowledging that. That's more than they could say about some of this other stuff they've been doing. And yeah, he should have given him one punch. One punch right in the chin. And yeah, that's all I gotta say about that.
Okay, so I guess we can move on to the finale. Yeah? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Man, so we go to the Reach. We find out that Cersei has gotten gold. The gold has made it all the way to King's Landing, all of it. And, the army's kind of like, look, we did our job. Kind of like, look, we're cool. We can march back however we feel. It's not a big deal. Jaime talks to Dickon about his first big battle, and Bran laughs at Dickon's name because, yes, it is a funny name. And then, as they're standing there like, all right, kind of lollygagging, Bran hears something, and it is the patter of thousands upon thousands of Dothraki screamers on their wild horses coming to march towards Dany and essentially, destroy their shield wall. And, it seems like they have a pretty good defense. They got shield wall going on, looks like at least 3 sides, and then also they got their spears as well. And then we get Daenerys on Drogon's back laying down the field of fire. Dickon is able to save Jaime from getting killed. Bronn goes and grabs the scorpion. Drogon is brought down by that scorpion. Jaime decides he wants a new name, Dragon Slayer, but that was not to be, and luckily for him, Bronn was still alive and was able to save him from certain death. But we see him, when we last see the both of them, they are falling into the water, and it looks like, I'm not sure if Jaime was unconscious or what, but it seemed like they were falling pretty far into that water. So, Jerry, I'd like to get your thoughts first on this particular scene.
Well, first, the gold wasn't delivered because, Bronn still had his gold. They were on their way to deliver the gold. I would assume they were somewhere between, Kingswood and the Red Keep. I would assume they were somewhere on the plains of that.
Well, no,
so
when they first started, they said they got the gold there. They said the gold is all there. Bronn just had his individual
gold. Why does Bronn
gold.
still have his gold then? Why hasn't Jaime gone in?
Randall Tarley specifically said that the gold has been delivered, has made it through the King's Landing gates. He specifically said that. Bronn's gold was his personal gold.
Yeah, why didn't he drop it off at wherever he's staying? Why is he just?
I don't know. I wasn't talking about it. I didn't understand the logistics of where they were at. But
he's not staying anywhere yet.
I'm just saying that Randall Tarley did specifically say that the gold has made it past the King's Landing gates.
So can we at least say that that this is taking place somewhere between, Kirkwood Forest and or Kingswood Forest and King's Landing?
I had no fucking clue where they were at. I didn't know where they were at.
Either way, it would mean that Dany had to have sailed past King's Landing to get to this point. Why the fuck is she doing? She had to go down Blackwater and just come around and go like, wait, what, huh? Why is she going over here? Why isn't she just attacking King's Landing? That's my biggest issue right here. Is we got more stupidity.
Well, okay, well, hold on. Think about it like this. Maybe her goal was to stop the army from getting back to King's Landing, so this way she would have a better chance
so she was too
of
late,
being able to take the city.
They already made it.
Not Randall the whole
Tarley,
army.
Randall Tarley specifically said that they had to cross the Blackwater Rush that night.
Okay.
So if they haven't crossed Blackwater, then that means that's where they are, and yeah, she did sail around for some odd fucking reason that makes no fucking sense. Okay, so we basically got stupidity to make this whole scene happen. That's issue right there. Other than that, though, it was, other than that, the actual battle was cool, because the battle, you got the Dothraki coming in. They sound like a fucking Native American war band. They're like coming at you. That was pretty cool because even though they're mainly inspired by Mongolians, they have a little bit of everything into a little bit of all kinds of nomadic tribes mixed into their what created how George came up with the Dothraki. So it was good to see that. I don't even know why many had to stand up to fire arrows. Why aren't they just firing like that? I guess they're just trying to do some style points. I'm like, no, really. Jaime had a lot of few, close calls. Fortunately he had Dickon there, and Dickon really stuck it into that guy from the behind. Yeah, man. It escalated quickly. There were horses. There was a man on fire. Someone got stabbed in the heart with a trident. I don't know why Daenerys was flying so low so often. It reminded me like of a bad DM in Dungeons and Dragons. Get that dragon up, away from everyone, and just only have the fire going when you're coming down. So, but she's just a young girl who doesn't understand. So I guess that makes sense. Yeah, the battle. I don't know what really to say about the battle. Other than it was cool. It was cool seeing all those effects, seeing all the guys on fire, seeing all the ass beat. The Dothraki should have beat that ass the way they beat that ass because the Dothraki are so good on the plains. That was their strength. So that was really cool to see. yeah, Bronn tried to save Jaime from fire, but I'm not too sure how much he really actually saved him because that fucking river looks like it's 40 feet deep and Jaime's wearing some fucking heavy armor dropping all the way to the south. So he should be a goner, but I'm sure just like Sam at the end of season 2 when he was surrounded by whites, he'll somehow miraculously come out of it alive. But other than that, other than some of those stupid things and the stupid reason for the fight to begin with, it was a really cool looking fight, especially the dragon burning shit and flying around. That looked really cool. I don't know why it was so low so often, but other than that, it was cool. I think they should have had Bronn miss a few times. He was like and guy, shooting there.
Listen, somebody's got to be. I mean, he's had a lot of practice killing people, so hey.
I'm just saying that's a hard target to hit.
Listen, it's not hard when they're coming right for you.
He hit it right. He hit it on the first shot.
True indeed. Sir LT.
Well, one of the shots was at a fucking Dothraki. Oh.
Well, he actually took 3 shots. He didn't miss.
Yeah, he missed 2. This is probably this is what I've been waiting for this season. Like this is like movie quality. This battle, and I don't see why. Like they can, if they wouldn't cut out all these battles, this show could be so much better than what it is. And I love this show. I think it's a good show, but this was movie quality. I would love to see this on the IMAX. Like I got to see Watchers on the Wall. It was fucking epic. I mean, not much to say about it. It was epic.
JB.
All right, well, I got some shit to say. First off, when Jerry said that a guy got stabbed in the heart with a trident, the first thought in my mind was Brick Tamlin from Anchorman.
That's exactly what I was referring to.
Yeah. I thought the second that... Well, first off, I didn't know where the fuck they were at. I couldn't think about it. I couldn't wrap around. I was like, wait, are they so close to the King's Landing? They said they got the gold through the King's Landing gates. Are they that close to King's Landing and Dany is attacking them there? I don't know. But I got that out of my head after I saw the battle because it was pretty fucking badass. I thought the second that Dickon was actually getting some lines that I thought he was a goner for sure in this episode, in this coming up battle. Because I knew that as soon as they cut from, Theon saying, well, where's Dany at, that they were going to show up here. I thought Dickon was going to be goner. I don't know, maybe he is, but we didn't see it. I think that they would have showed it if he got killed. Seeing the devastation of the dragons, we saw they were clearly showing that these guys turn into ash almost instantaneously, which is quite devastating. Once again, I think that's why that maybe they are actually going to bring the Golden Company in to kind of even things out. Otherwise, Dany's just too OP. I actually wrote down on my notes here, I don't know if you can see it, I wrote down Native American imagery, as Jerry brought up, because I was actually going to bring up, they had the Dothraki Screamers doing kind of a Native American thing. I always thought they were more like Mongol archers. Well, of course, they have the Erics as well, but I always kind of had a Mongol vibe with them. And especially, they actually kind of showed, when they were showing the Screamers come down the hill, they actually kind of showed like a mesa plateau looking deal, and I was like, they're really trying to hammer home the Native American imagery with Dothraki, I thought, because it kind of reminded me of like the Arizona desert, where they kind of have the flat mesa plateaus, and I thought it looked great. I will say that I continue to believe that when they have Dany on the back of Drogon, or she's only been on Drogon, but I feel that the CGI isn't up to standard. To me, it looks weird seeing her on the back of a dragon. I hope they get that cleaned up, but to me it looks kind of weird. I don't know if it's just me, but I feel that it looks a little weird. But aside from that, the rest of the battle looked amazing. Especially the shots of Drogon swooping down and like just devastating carts with this fire. That's the kind of shit I want to see involving the dragons. They got Brown out here. He's now Nathan Drake. I mean, he's out here dodging everything. He's rolling out of the way. He's a damn superhero. They love them some Braun. I mean, he had more lines than Stannis in season up to that point from season 1 to season 5. He had more lines than Stannis. They love him some Braun. I mean, but I will say that I'm okay with it because I do think that Jerome Flynn does a good job. And even though I do think that maybe they shouldn't have made Bronn so cool, he is cool. I mean, it is what it is. He's a cool character. But yeah, so he's essentially a superhero. He might as well get his own show. Maybe that'll be the next spinoff. You know, Bronn's adventures with Bronn. You know, I don't know. And I do think that they did try to mirror Jaime falling in the river. I actually thought I'm like, you know, obviously I kind of think that Jaime is the Valonqar, and I think that he's got a more important purpose in mind than just dying in the random episode 4 of season 7. You know, I think he's got more to do. But for a split second, I was like, are they going to kill Jaime here? I thought maybe for a split second they were. I do think he is going to survive the ordeal. Maybe he ends up as a prisoner. I don't know. But I do think they tried to mirror Jaime's fall in the river and descension into the water to Tyrion's same descension into the water when he fell into what the fuck? You know what I'm talking about. When he fell in Valyria. I can't even think right now because I've been drinking some beer. But but yeah, I think they're trying to mirror that same imagery with Tyrion and Jaime there. But yeah, I mean, what can you say? It was yeah. But I mean, what can you say? It was pretty badass. I can't deny. You know, they can shoot some action scenes, and I wish that they would have. You know, they want to shorten this season, which they did, obviously, to 7 episodes, and they have these short episodes. And I wish they would have channeled that badassery they just showed with Dany into taking Castle Rock and Highgarden, which I would feel would be monumental occasions in the books if it happens. And just to turn those into 3-minute. Sorry, I just muted myself. But to turn that into 3-minute montages, I feel like they could have done so much more with that, as they showcased with this end sequence.
That would have been expensive, JB. They gotta pocket some of that cheddar though for themselves.
Yeah, you know, I was about to say. I think this is where that Highgarden and Casterly Rock money went to.
Mm-hmm. One thing I just thought about: if they had fucking Viserion and Rhaegal, it would have been a wrap. Everybody would have been dead. I mean, Jaime and Bronn would have there would have been no way they would have survived. Like, I wonder what she was thinking, why she didn't bring all 3 dragons, because it would have been a wrap.
I was kind of wondering myself, like, how come she's only got 1 dragon? Where are Viserion and Rhaegal? But I mean, maybe it was too expensive.
I guess
it might have just been too expensive. So I'm not gonna kill them on why is there only 1 dragon. It might have been that just like, look, we can't do 3 big flamethrowers at one time. We just don't have the money for it. So
look, I don't remember. Were they in that battle at Marine at the end of last season?
Yeah, which was mainly CGI, and I think the reason why they might not have been able to do it this time around is you had more actual human beings. So I think the pyrotechnics might have just been, it might have overblown the budget if they did the CGI, the regular people plus pyrotechnics. So I think we can give them a pass on that one. And plus, you got to think about it like this: 3 dragons means Drogon does not get brought down, because Bronn would be too busy worrying about trying to shoot 3 dragons, or it's like if I get this one, the other 2 burn me alive. So I think we can give them a pass on not having all 3 dragons, because, you know, there was a particular narrative that they were trying to get across with the scene that I think they did pretty well. And
if I was Bronn, oh my bad.
Oh no, go ahead. But like after you finish, I want to talk about this scene for myself.
I just wanted to say that if I was Bronn or Jaime and I got back to Qyburn or Cersei, I would tell Qyburn to put an order in for like 6 of these things and have them on each wall of the castle, and then that would be real trouble for all 3 dragons if you have like people stationed in certain areas with scorpions on all sides. That would be really dangerous for the dragons.
Honestly speaking, I thought there were going to be more scorpions. I didn't think that it would be 1 scorpion alone that would... I mean, not that it wouldn't be 1 scorpion alone to bring down Drogon, but I thought that it would be a little more of a challenge. But again, might be budgetary constraints. Because think about it, we got 3 more episodes to go. We still need more of the White Walkers. There's the possibility that the wall comes down, and there might be a few more big battle scenes. So I think that we can give them a pass, not overblowing the budget on extra scorpions, dragons, and the like, because we still don't know yet what they have planned for the other 3 episodes. So I'm not gonna sit here and just like, oh, they didn't give us this. Let's not do that, because then it becomes to the point where it's just nitpicking and nitpicking after a certain point is a little mundane and actually it kind of cheapens what we do here. But I'd like to talk about this scene because I thought it was an awesome battle scene, and the whole Bronn thing, I know you guys kind of were saying is Nathan Drake-ish. I'll be honest with you, it put me in the mind of Battle of the Bastards when, you get the first charge and Jon is kind of following Jon as he's going through the battlefield. That's what that reminded me of with Bronn, which I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. I remember James was kind of like, I think Bronn is gonna die. I'm like, nah. Bronn can't be killed by no freaking rando Dothraki like that. So I thought it was actually cool when he blew him away with the scorpion real quick.
I didn't think he was gonna get killed by the rando Dothraki. I actually thought he was gonna get burned alive on the scorpion by Drogon.
I can see that. Oh man, and damn. Unfortunately, we're losing some people. They got to say goodnight. Don't worry, we're actually out of here in another few minutes ourselves. But shout out to everybody who's come to watch us live, and shout out to.
Let me know when you're finished, John. I got a few things to say about the inside the episode.
Okay, damn it! I still haven't watched the inside the episode, you fucker. God damn it! Wait until later. No, that fucking man. It's all good. All right. Anyway, look, I think Daenerys coming through on Drogon. I know, James, you said you had issues with it. The only issue that I have is the fact that she doesn't have a harness. Like,
you know what? I was gonna say that.
Hold on, let me finish real quick. You figure as a callback to season 1, you got the guy who actually built a harness so that Bran could ride on a horse, and I think that I would say probably 99% of people, when Tyrion finally met up with Daenerys, was thinking, oh, okay, he's gonna build her a harness so that she could ride Drogon safely, and that still hasn't happened yet. Not exactly sure why. Maybe she doesn't know about the whole harness thing, but I think Tyrion should have brought that up by now. Or they might think it's too complicated to do. Maybe like in terms of maybe Tyrion hasn't figured that out yet. So I'm not gonna slay them on that one, because remember, Drogon is still growing.
Real quick, if I can interject, I actually don't have an issue with actually Dany riding Drogon. I have an issue with the fact that I feel like the CGI looks weird. But I don't have an issue with the fact that she is doing it.
No. I was saying, I thought I know you mentioned about the CGI and the way that it looked when Dany was on top of him, and the CGI looked kind of iffy, which, I understand. Let's see here. Like I said, Bronn is back to broke again, though. He lost his money, like, the moment that damn charge started, and he tells Jaime to go, because if you think about it, right, when that whole thing started, Bronn actually kind of wanted to leave, because he tells Jaime to go get the scorpion, and Jaime's like, I can't work it with one hand, and you see Bronn kind of hesitate there, like, shit, now this means I gotta go and do it. But Bronn was fearless when he actually did get to the Scorpion, except for, obviously when the fireball comes. Because I think when the fireball comes, anybody jumps out the way. I don't think anyone stays around. It's like, yeah, the fireball is coming out of this dragon. No. And what I took down on my notes here, when Jaime picked up that spear, I was like, oh. At first, I thought it was Jaime is going to try to kill the dragon. But I think once Daenerys came more into focus, it was like, no, Jaime is trying to kill Daenerys because basically she is the head of the snake. And you got to think about it. If Jaime kills Daenerys, at that point, Drogon probably roams around a little aimless. Yes, he does probably burn almost everything in sight, but he doesn't have a dragon rider in order to give him commands anymore. So I thought that was pretty interesting to me. I don't know if anyone else picked up on Jaime trying to absolutely kill Daenerys as opposed to trying to kill Drogon, but that's what I got.
I thought that was pretty obvious, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought he was going to kill Daenerys.
Okay, cool. No, because listen, some people have different interpretations, so I just wanted to make sure that was clear across the board. Yeah, and then the whole thing with Jaime being saved by Bronn. Again, I mean, like, the water didn't look like it was that deep at first, because I didn't remember them really being near a large body of water, but I guess the body of water was large enough for him to kind of get sunk, and I don't remember whether or not he was knocked unconscious. But it is what it is with that. But I like the battle scene a lot. I think it's one of the better battle scenes that they actually have done in the show. Of course, it's not on the level of Battle of the Bastards and some of the other stuff that they've done, like Hard Home. But I still think it was a pretty good battle scene, and I'm not sure you could get much better. Given what it was that they were trying to accomplish. But Jerry, you wanted to talk about the inside of the episode that at least 2 or 3 of us have not seen yet, you bastard. So go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to... Well, first I wanted to say, yeah, I thought the same thing about those harness, and that's also why I kind of hope that HBO isn't the one that does, Dance with Dragons, because the harness in the books, they're like used to chain them down so that way when the dragons do all kinds of spinning moves and do all kinds of crazy stuff and upside down things that they don't fall off. And that's also led to one of the coolest scenes in the Dance with the Dragons when Daemon's dragon grabs Aemon's dragon, Vhagar, and like clamps on him, and Daemon unsaddles himself and then jumps off and like stabs. He's able to stab Aemon because Aemon can't move because he's stuck in his dragon. So that's one of the cool things that probably wouldn't be able to be done right the way that they're doing it here. As far as the inside of the episode, Benioff confirms that, like, as if we needed it, Jon and Dany attraction. And there's one thing I wanted to ask y'all, because this is something that Weiss said. He said that this battle was the first time 2 main characters were on opposite sides of the battlefield. I thought that was kind of weird. I mean, I guess they don't consider Stannis and Ramsay main characters, or Stannis and Bolton main characters. I guess they don't consider Jaime and Robb main characters. I don't know what y'all think.
Stannis and Tyrion.
Yeah, Stannis and Tyrion.
Yeah, that was... Yeah, I mean, now that you say that was, yeah, that's a little weird, that they would say that. Yeah, I'm not even sure what to make of that one. I don't know if maybe they didn't watch the DVDs for earlier seasons or something like that, but
yeah, what? It probably would help with their writing if they go back and watch some of the stuff that they've done, because they've really, in this season, they've really fucked up continuity, their own continuity. Not just, I mean, they've been fucking up the book lore for 3 seasons now.
Yeah, that doesn't make very much sense. And Plexi Bertrand, once again, brought up a pretty good point. It also makes no sense. Why is Dany going to a battle with her dress on? Like, does D&D not realize that in the book she wore leathers from time to time? Like, why is she going there full dress? That does kind of bug me now I think about it. Like, she'd be wearing leathers, at least. Mm-hmm. But yeah, whatever.
I mean, listen, we're trying not to kill them. I mean, look, at this point, fuck it. We already know they're off book. Let's just try to judge them on what
we're judging them based on their show, and they're still kind of fucking up here.
Yeah. I mean,
it's interesting that they bring that up in an episode where they brought up on multiple occasions that Davos and Tyrion were on opposite sides of the Blackwater. They brought it up like 3 times, and they say in the inside of the episode that no main characters were on opposing sides of the war, even though they brought it up in this episode a couple times.
So I mean, I guess what they're saying is that Davos and Stannis were not main characters. And it's funny because currently
Rob's not a main character either. So
currently, let's see. I think currently Tyrion is not a main character right now. So that means that the only 2 main characters, people they consider to be main characters
Jaime?
At this point in time were Jaime and Daenerys. And I'll be honest with you, Jaime doesn't seem like a main character. Jaime really seems more like a secondary character.
Catelyn wasn't a main character either, because remember Catelyn was with Rob when he took on Jaime.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, look, one day we'll have to ask them.
Renly?
Yeah, one day we'll have to ask, like, who are the main characters throughout the series and who are not, because, yeah, that whole, this being the first time of 2 main characters being on opposite sides, yeah, unless they were talking about 2 main characters from the same family. Now, if they were saying that, then technically
he did not say that. He did not say that.
I mean, no, I'm talking about if that's what they meant, then it would be correct.
Okay.
But anyway, let's wrap this up. Let's give scores. So I want to start off with Sir LT Giles. Your score 1 to 10 for this episode.
I just want to say that stuff like that is of course, it's an error by the end of the day, but it's also being nitpicky. Like, just let stuff like that go. This episode was epic, and you guys want to sit there and let stuff like that ruin it for you. When this episode was badass, I give it a 9, and it's unfortunate that you guys have to let small things like that ruin it for you. I'm curious to see what you guys' ratings are, but I don't let stuff like that ruin it for me. I thought this episode was great, not perfect, but great. And this is a taste of what we're going to get in the future. And I'm hoping every episode could be like this for the rest of the season.
I mean, I don't know if anyone else said that the episode was ruined for them. And in fact, I think that, other than pointing out a couple of inconsistencies, I think that, we've been pretty generous to the episode so far.
No, I'm not saying that. But what I'm just saying is, little stuff like that. It is an error. But it's like, who cares? Who cares?
We care, because this is why we're talking right now. What's the point of going on? Anyway, let's go back to the ratings.
Sorry, damn. I muted myself, didn't even recognize. James, your rating for this episode?
Yeah, I'm not really sure what I don't know what maybe I gave off the vibe. I was bothered by things, but I mean, I give the episode an 8.5, I guess, or an 8. I'll say 8.25. Yeah, some things bothered me, but at this point, I'm kind of in the mode of just things. It is what it is at this point. So I go in with lowered expectations, and I just watch it and hope for the best. And I saw some things that the ending was awesome. So there was obviously some things that bothered me, but like I said, 8.25. I think that's a pretty good episode. Yeah, I enjoyed it for what it was. Do I think it's perfect? No, I don't. But I mean, at this point, I kind of, I might point out the little things, but I don't let it bother me as much as it used to. So 8.25.
All right. Let's see. Oh, you know what? We should probably go around and guess Jerry's score. We know it's going to be lower than anybody else's on the panel, but you know what? LT, your thoughts? What do you think Jerry's score is going to be for this episode?
I think if George himself said this episode was a 10, Jerry would probably give it a 5 because Jerry's just so overcritical. So yeah,
Okay.
George himself could say this episode's a 10, and Jerry would still be critical of it.
Okay, but what do you think his score is going to be?
Maybe I'm wrong. He'll probably give it a 6 like last week.
Okay, James.
He's gonna give it a 4. 40%.
4 out of 10.
Okay, so Jerry, that is actually your score of 4 for this episode?
No.
Okay.
I thought you were gonna.
All right, so I'm gonna guess for this one. I'm gonna say that Jerry gives it a 6.5. So Jerry.
And if you really want to know who the most critical of this, right here. Don't watch their videos. They're more critical about it than I am.
Yo, shout out to Elio and Linda, friends of the watch.
Oh yeah,
can't wait
awesome.
to have them back on the channel again.
Yeah, totally. We're splitting it up. The last 15 minutes, whatever that had. Most of it was excellent. The whole purpose of it was kind of stupid. But it's even with that stupidity, it still comes out to probably like a 9 in that last 15 minutes. The rest of the other 35 minutes of the episode was kind of like a 5. But I think if you mix them together, you probably come out with like 7.5, maybe 8. Let's go with 8.
Holy shit, we were all wrong. Jerry gives the episode an 8. Holy shit. Mm-hmm. Folks, I want you to mark down the time. It is 11:55 Eastern.
How about that? Soft 8.
Huh?
Maybe like a
11:55 Eastern.
I'm in the Twilight Zone. I'm dreaming, right? I'm dreaming.
All right. Wow. So, for me, personally, I thought this episode was great. To me, probably the best episode of the season. Littlefinger did not die. We're still waiting on Littlefinger watch right now. Had a great battle. And even though it was a shorter episode, to me it actually really didn't feel a lot shorter. The end was kind of abrupt, but it didn't feel like the episode was super compressed. So, you know what?
That might have actually helped it because they didn't say some stupid shit sometimes. So.
Right. So, I am going to give this one 8.75. 8.75 for this episode. So, LT... we're going to go back around the scores again because I'm sorry, Jerry blew me away. I can't even remember James and LT scored right now because Jerry just fucking blew my mind. So, LT, what was your rating for this one again?
I give it a solid 9.
James?
I gave it an 8.25, and with your 8.75 and Jerry's 8, we average out at 8.5.
Are we doing 7.5? Are we doing those? Because in that case, I'll go with 7.75.
Oh, come on, man.
Man, just keep it at 8. Keep it at 8 so it's an even 8.5. It's 8.5 for the group. Just keep it at 8.
Oh, man. All right. So let's see what we got in the chat here. Let's see what we got for scores in the chat. Jake Cruz gives it a 9. Plexi gives it 8.5. We got AU with a 9. Sam RO9 with 8.5. Alicia Kingston, great confidence in this episode. She gives it a 9.5. Tyrion Jr. Landstar gives it an 8.5. Oh man. Alright, do we got any more scores before we go? If you got any scores, put them in the chat real quick. We'll shout you out before we go. I thought this was a great episode. I'm gonna watch it again before I go to bed.
I don't think we need to hear that fucking con from last week. We know what his score is. He gave last week's episode a 10, so he's probably giving this one like an 11.
Oh, listen, the frauds will always, just give it a 10 just because,
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
Gotta ride that dick on.
Yeah, basically. Let's see here. Game of Theories with Marie gives it a 9.8. Hours is the Fury gives it an 8. Man, oh man. Let's see here. We got Brian Atkinson 8.75. See if we got any more rolling in. Yeah, but listen, didn't the fraudulent hype give every episode a 10 so far?
Oh, the false hype? Yeah.
Yeah, man. So come on, man. Look, you got to roll with the people you can actually trust. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow. Tell God gives it a 4.
He's
Wow.
trolling. He's probably trolling.
No,
Oh
I think
man.
that's Bret Hart.
Oh my god, that's hilarious. Jay Measy gives it a 9.5. Oh man. This is hilarious.
I mean, Tell God might be a writer, and writing's important to him. So I mean, that could be. You can't really judge what a person's score. Well, you can in some case, like the false hype, where there's no real analysis, but
Hmm.
you can't really judge what's important to someone. Some people, like writing. Some people like action. Some people like lore. I mean, some people like different things. Different things matter to different people. So you can't.
All right, let's
We
see.
can say the writing is 4.
All right, so the Caster Rise gives it a 9. Yeah. Oh man. All right, so I think that's all the scores we're gonna get out of everyone for tonight. Listen, this one was great. Can't wait to be back next week. Hopefully we'll get all of the technical stuff worked out, and we can have any special guests who might want to pop up on here. But yeah, listen, we're gonna go around the horn, say our goodbyes. Let everybody know where they can find you. LT, you're up first, since I know you gotta go.
Yeah, almost perfect episode. Really good episode. Not quite perfect, but almost perfect. Really enjoyed it, and just looking forward to next season. You could catch my review's already up, so hop to my channel and check out my review. Have a good night, everybody.
JBTV.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to be back. I'm back from vacation. Straight up, if I wasn't part of this group, I wouldn't watch this show anymore, like being 100% honest. But I'm here. So far, the season hasn't been terrible, so that's a good thing. And fuck, no, I'm not even going to say it. Never mind. Yeah. Good being here, guys.
And the shocker himself, Jerry Targaryen Steamboat.
Well, I'm gonna say it. Fuck you, Dan and Dave. Go fuck yourself. Go do for Confederate forever.
Jerry, I don't think that's what James is thinking. I think he was thinking, fuck the false hype.
Well, that too. So.
Asshole wipe.
Yeah, for real. Listen, you already know where you can find all of us if we are not on our individual channels. The links to all of our individual channels will be in the description. LT's review is up now. Mine will be up on Tuesday because I just got way too much work to do tomorrow to do a review, so sorry for the delay on that one. But we will be back next Sunday, of course, to review episode 5. And shout out to everyone who joined us live. Shout out to all of those who will be back with us after this is all over, and who will be watching it on the replay or whatever. Look, and you already know the deal. Rate, comment, subscribe, share, tell your friends to come back for more. That has been our time here at the Hype Swatch, and this is Don Willie saying Valor Do Iris. Woo!